But it raises questions
Yes.
about the position of the Ministry of Justice or the Attorney General of the Federation, because he also plays advisory role to the government of the day. And then about the police, they're prosecutors, so they should prosecute some of these cases. They can also advise the government on the day. And then you have the ICPC, you have the EFCC. So if you need a committee to advise you when all these agencies are there, then it suggests that maybe no confidence in all of those other committees.
It's not just about advice. It's about the quality of advice.
So all those agencies...
No, we are not saying that. These agencies exist previously. We have toyed with the options of some of these, agencies in the past. What we are faced with now demands new options, new approaches, and
so does that mean
new insights.
Pardon me to button. Does that mean that we cannot get new approach or new insight with existing framework?
If the existing framework is able to deliver effectively and efficiently, we won't be toying with some other options.
Have we tried them to see if they couldn't deliver?
In the past, what has been the results?
No, but you see that ever since the government
in the past,
some
changes. The results have not been satisfactory.
So do we scrap them then?
No, we are not. We are not scrapping them. I think the attempt is to make them more efficient and effective. And this advisory committee is also positioned to be able to assist the government.
Let me bring the perspective of Mr. Sorry for button, David. Let me bring in the perspective of Mr. Falana, also talking about the concern of majority of Nigerians, whereby, we've also had some people come on the program to say, or ask the question, do we have two kinds of laws here in the country, one for the rich and very influential and another for the very poor? So now for lawyers and those in the judiciary, what has been the case with prosecution when it comes to the not too influential Nigerian and the influential Nigerian? We have seen the speed with which some of these judgments are given when it comes to those not too influential, and the kind of judgment handed down to such individuals. That's why Nigerians are concerned about special courts when it comes to the fight against corruption. The rich have greatly been, in many cases, favored somehow.
I listened to Mr. Femi Falana, and it is difficult to be able to fault his analysis. What we are saying here is a distinction between the ideal and what operates in practice, the law in the book, as opposed to the law in action. The ideal is that everyone is supposed to be equal before the law. The law is to be applied.
Is that realistic?
Well, that is what we are supposed to strive at attaining. But we know that in reality, some people are more equal than others, even our fingers. You understand me? So the application of the law in practice is heavily tilted against the poor. Every criminal justice administration, a system of administration of justice, must be concerned about this and work against this reality.
The other angle to this, I forgot to ask Mr. Falana, because we understand that, yes, they want equality between the law, but amongst lawyers themselves, you know that they say if you have to consult an SEN, 10 million first and foremost. And can the poor man afford that?
Well, the poor man who cannot afford senior advocates senior advocates can consult some other lawyers who are not senior advocates.
So doesn't that speak to
it's
tough to be equal?
It's not easy to rise to the rank of the sec. The assumption is that you have attained the highest.
So by extension, it's not easy to get justice.
No, you see, I think it would be wrong for you to think it's only when you are defended by a senior advocate that you can get justice. That is why the appointment of senior advocates is a yearly ritual. There are a lot of people out there who have the qualities of senior advocates who are not yet appointed.
Let me get you.
It's like turn by turn and you don't limit it. So I don't think, but I think those who have been assigned the appointment, they merit it. And
let me get your perspective. I'm just wondering, with the criminal Administration of Criminal Justice Act just signed now. How will the silk perform in those courts? You know, normally regular courts, when they get in, there's certain privileges they enjoy. Would that still happen with this ACJ?
Well, the privileges of, assigned to senior advocates will continue to happen.
Given the speed that the cases have got to be dispensed
will continue to happen to them. But that does not mean that that will be at the expense of the law. You see, we need to look at the salient provisions of the new law to be able to appreciate its significance. One, it says that a trial will now be day by day, and no adjournment can be more than 5. You can't get more than 5 adjournments. And then the expectation is that you should be able to conclude every case within 6 months.
No more 7 years
and
or some cases.
And even if you are appointed, if you are trying a case as a judge, and suddenly you are elevated to the Court of Appeal, the law requires you to come back and conclude the case, notwithstanding the fact that you have been elevated. And it doesn't stop you from also performing your functions at the appellate court level. In the past, some cases will have gotten to a very appreciable level. Maybe judgment is about to be delivered. Suddenly the judge is elevated. And you now have to start the trial de novo.
So is this
that will no longer operate.
Is this an excellent one already?
Excellent one, yes. This law is there. I think what we should encourage all the states in the Federation is for them to be able to incorporate the law into their own various legal system. I think Lagos State, before the law was being propagated, has taken initiative in this regard.
Okay, because at the moment it's applicable in all federal courts.
Yes, federal courts.
Yeah.
In this fight against
corruption. Federal court, it says. Not federal courts alone.
States too?
It's a federal enactment.
Yeah, but can states...
It's a federal enactment that can be cited. But what we are saying is that for it to be effective, applied effectively, so the states must also key to it. Yes.
So in this fight against corruption, when can you say that we've made appreciable progress? What are you looking to see?
Well, I would say we have made appreciable progress if corruption is reduced to the barest minimum.
How would you know that?
Yeah.
Well, you can even see from what is going on now. There's a new culture. There's a new change because of the moral authority of the leadership. The president is seen to be against corruption.
Well, you're saying
the vice president is also seen.
Are you saying that in the courts already?
We are saying that now. There's a new attitude. It's about leadership. If people lead from the front, if the number 1 man is not stealing, and you know it's not stealing, if the number 2 man is not stealing, and that has been acknowledged locally and internationally, that these are upright people, and they are determined.
Is that enough?
Well, I think leadership by example is the foundation. You understand me?
How do we institutionalize it?
Well, if you want to fight corruption, you have to strengthen institutions. You have to strengthen systems. Again, you have to strengthen your ethical and moral values. And then you must ensure that there are consequences. And then you limit the opportunities that can give rise to corruption. All these are issues that you have to think. In fact, this call for special court. It's also because we are talking of.
So you support the special court?
Fully, 100%. But I think we should also look in the direction of those to man those costs.
So are you speaking from the perspective of having handled cases for the anti-graft agencies and having seen what was going on?
Well, the current delays, because other regular courts also have to contend with other cases.
Because
so if you have special courts driven by integrity with a time frame, you know the election petitions now, you are expected to conclude within 180 days. You can see the kind of speed. If that can be applied, there are rules to guide the conduct of these special courts.
So you think we will still need special courts?
I think we need special courts.
Even with the administration of the new Criminal Justice Act?
I think so. I think the special courts will assist greatly in forestalling the element of delay that we have occurring presently.
All right, Mr. Wahab Shittu is a legal practitioner and the lecturer in law, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be back after the break. Join us again.